Split squats. All right, let's get into this one. We are doing a unilateral squat here. It just means that we are biasing one leg more than the other versus the heels elevated squat where we had both of the weight distributed equally across both legs. In a split squat, your front leg is your working leg. I want you to think about 80% of the effort in the front leg and 20% in the back leg. I'm going to talk you through this unloaded first. Not much changes when we load it up, except for we are adding the kettlebell or the dumbbell. We want to remember that in a split squat, we don't need to have this super wide stance, okay? So notice that my stance is a little bigger than a staggered stance, but it is not so wide that this feels like a lunge or anything like that. So a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, but not by much. This is a squat. It means that we are going down and up. We are not hinging back like we would in a deadlift, okay? We want to think about elevator down and then elevator back up. Another thing to keep in mind with this is that your feet need to be like railroad tracks, not a tightrope. If you try and put your foot right behind the other one, this is going to feel really hard and off. So make sure that you do have a little bit of space in between your feet and your knees. Very important, this back leg. A lot of times people mess this up. The back toe needs to be down on the ground, the big toe and the pinky toe, and you want the heel up, okay? Get your heel up. That is going to help because you're going to bend this knee and you're going to be able to load that front leg more effectively. Now, you want to keep both toes facing forward. Again, parallel railroad tracks. As you're coming down, don't let that back knee turn out or that back knee fall in. Another great thing to think about is that we want the hips to be like headlights. So as we're going down and coming up, they need to stay facing forward. We don't want to come down and open up a hip, and we also don't want to let another hip pop out to the side. Hip bones need to face forward. As you come down, we want to think about hips staying even, and we are coming down evenly, really loading the right side and then coming up. As much as you can, we're going to try and keep that stacked position here. You may notice that it's a little easier to keep the stack here than in the bilateral squat, and that is totally cool. Everybody's body is different, so you'll find out a little bit more about yours. What I like to do here sometimes, if I'm just doing it with body weight, is I will put one hand on the back of my butt and I'll kind of hold my other hand on top so that way I can rotate into that working hip just a little bit more like this. Now, if you're adding load to it, we can do it on one side or the other. If you do it on the outside, you're gonna get a little more glute. If you add the load on the inside, you're gonna get a little more adductor. So whatever works for you. Either one is totally fine. If we add it on the inside, you want to have the kettlebell coming right in between your legs. You don't want it outside of your leg. That's not gonna feel very good, okay? So right in between the legs, and then you would come down and up. And then if you are doing it on the outside, it is obviously just gonna be on the outside, and you want to make sure to stand up straight, nice and tall, come down and up. And that is how you do it.